A Chinese lawyer and businessman, Victor Gao, has made some claims that position China as one of the powerful countries in the world. He has stated that China is not perturbed by the recent threats from Israel and US. I want us to watch this particular video. I will be back.
China now enjoys military superiority above the United States. Now, the Americans may not agree with me, but when you look at the conventional weapons as well as nuclear weapons, China is not next to the United States. China is actually ahead of the United States. This is very profound, and it will take time to sink in. But that leads to a very important next question. That is, whether the United States wants to pick up a war against China. Let me tell you, as I mentioned, inevitability of peace between China and the United States. Does that mean the United States will not kind of challenge China? No, they will continue to challenge China. Do you know through what means? Through using proxies. They want to turn the Philippines into a proxy. They want to push the Philippines to the forefront, to instigate a war between China and the Philippines in the South China Sea, and the United States hides in the background, and it does not suffer any casualty. The casualties will be either the Chinese on the Chinese side or the Filipinos on the Filipino side. That would be very, very dangerous. There is another potential proxy. That is the separatists in Taiwan. The Americans want to push the separatists in Taiwan to the forefront to instigate a war between the two sides of the Taiwan Strait. Now, other than that, I don't think any general or admiral in Washington will really go in that direction of instigating a direct war with China. Because, let me share with you, after the Korean War, it is a consensus in Washington that the United States does not want to fight a ground war with China anymore. They are sickened by the casualties suffered by the Americans on the Korean Peninsula, because they learned the lesson in the Vietnam War, and Philippines was very much involved in the Vietnam War because the Americans used the Philippines as the naval base, as the air base, etc. China said, don't cross parallel 17. Let me tell you, the Americans never crossed above the parallel 17. China drew a line, and the Americans didn't move 1 inch above parallel 17. That was in the 1960s. That was in the 1970s. Now, allow me to share with you. If you watch the aerial battle between the Pakistanis and the Indians, and I know both of them very well, they both talked about Victor Gao as being very influential when I talked with them on Indian TV and on Pakistani TV. Listen, the Indians suffered losses. President Trump said 6 of your planes were shut down, or even 7. And Pakistani didn't suffer any loss. Do you know why? Because Pakistanis now are very advanced vis-a-vis the Indians, because they use all the military equipment either exported by China to Pakistan or jointly produced between China and Pakistan, to such an extent that India is very much disadvantaged. Why? Because the Pakistanis have learned from the Chinese cooperation that they need to integrate what I say, the space, the sky, that is the Air Force, the ground, that is the Army, and the surface water, that is the Navy, and the submarine, 5 dimensions integrated into one seamless fighting dimension, aided and enabled by information technology and AI. So the Pakistanis now can see further than the Indians, and their missile can shoot further than the Indians. The Indians could not see the incoming planes on the Pakistani side. And they could not see any missile coming because they were not as instantaneously integrated. When you watch the parade in Tiananmen Square on September the 3rd, you saw the troops, the soldiers, the generals, and the military trucks, the missiles, etc., one by one. But in real battle, they do not perform in each capacity. They are merged into a fighting machine. Allow me to share with you my true observation. China has the best technology now in the world to integrate all these dimensions together into one seamless fighting chain of command. Now the Americans actually panic because they keep saying they can no longer build naval ships. Their production of ships, we are at a crossroad already, and we already gone beyond the point of no return. That is, the United States has come to the conclusion that it is futile to fight a war with China. And it is actually, they are thinking about using some proxy. Proxy. Philippines is a proxy. Taiwan is a proxy. What else? Do you think India will be a proxy? Let me share with you my observation. After the Pakistani-Indian aero battle, the minimum will take 10 years for India to recover. Really, India is a great country. I admire India very much. But I don't think they want to really find themselves in another war, especially aero war between India and Pakistan, because they now realize they are very much disadvantaged for lack of technology and lack of this integrated command system. That is the reality. I think I'm a realist. I'm a very pragmatic person. And I'm here very honored, and I feel myself very much privileged. And I want to share my truth with you, whatever I really understand. And I do not come to Philippines alone. I travel throughout the world, really. And I want to say, between China and the Philippines, really, being friends will be the better approach. Let's talk about peace. None of us should wear war on our lips. If you listen to China, China never talks about war. China always talks about peace. And I think it is peace that will be the most important thing. China has tried its best to convince the Americans, talk about peace with me. Don't talk about war with me. Because if you talk about war with me, you will be beaten. You will lose the next war as you lost the war in the Korean War. And that will be probably, the Americans probably will find that very much unacceptable. But let's really embrace peace. That's my fundamental point. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Gao.
This is detailed information from Mr. Victor Gao, and it's interesting how the world is turning out to be. Recently, Benjamin Netanyahu sent a strong warning to China that it seems they are harboring some Hamas members, and if care is not taken, they will come for them in Beijing. And some political analysts from China has also sent strong warning to Israel that if they are men, they should step in their soil and they will find out. Has China become that powerful? Even though China has not involved themselves in any war recently, it seems the recent parade that they did has also revealed things we should expect when it comes to war. It seems they have the resources, and their president's speech also speaks volume because he makes it clear that China is for peace. Even though they have the resources that they can go to war and they are going to win, they still preach peace. And if I can say so, China has never attacked any country. With all the development they have acquired, they did not go to any country like how other Western countries do. They did not go to any country to steal their resources to develop themselves. So it is becoming interesting how it seems the Chinese empire rising. Some Western countries feel jealous because their title of world superpower is being taken from them, and they are not happy. So they are making it, as usual, making it their duty to go to war with China. They have been holding back because they don't know what to expect when they involve themselves with China. And that is why the war between China has been dragging, because they don't know what to expect. And we can testify that China yesterday is not China today. China has become very powerful these days when they are political analysts and experts, security experts, when they are making submissions, they hail China as one of the powerful countries when it comes to military resources. So we shouldn't joke with them. China has always been projected as a communist country that do not respect human rights. But recently we have really understood that any country that don't follow Western kind of political system, you'll be tagged as either a dictator, a communist, or someone who don't follow human rights. If China was supposed to be in Africa, they should have attacked them and removed their president, which they normally call it regime change, and makes the country like Libya. They will destroy the country. But because China has been able to build themselves and they have become fearless, other countries can go and do the same thing like how they did to Libya. We are waiting. We hope there won't be war between China and any other country. We should enjoy our peace, because any war between China and any other country will turn into nuclear war, and that can come off as the Third World War. Let's wait and see. Please, if today is your first time coming to this channel, then don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification button so that anytime I upload any great content, you will be notified. I'm always your guy, De-Graft Amoako. Thanks for watching.